Physics has always been around humans in our everyday lives. However, it wasn't until the last 1500 years or so that we really started to understand what physics is and how it affects us. During this analysis, we'll be looking at a series of sports and the safety of your car, just as you would ride in it every day. The first sport is swimming. So what goes into swimming is a lot of water resistance. Hydrodynamics is how water flows over something and how the resistance affects it while it's going through. So one way that swimmers work to eliminate this is by shaving and also by wearing hair caps or swimming caps that allow the water to slide right over them. Another way they combat this is through swimsuits that are designed to act similarly to shark skin. Swimmers also experience a factor of buoyancy when going through the water. They work to stay as close to the surface as possible in order to eliminate the resistance of the water and go through air resistance, since it is a much easier thing to travel through. Archery is another sport that we can look at. It involves a lot of action and reaction process, which also includes Newton's third law of motion. So first off, you have potential energy. The potential energy is created when the archer themselves pulls back the bowstring and knocks the arrow. The potential energy is stored within the bowstring, ready to be put upon the arrow. When the energy is placed upon the arrow, it then becomes kinetic energy. That kinetic energy is then transferred into the target whenever it impacts. Another thing that archery has that involves physics is the fletching of an arrow. The fletching of an arrow allows the drag just slightly so that the sideways draft of the wind cannot as greatly affect the arrow as it would if it was just a flying stick. This also allows it to travel in a more accurate path. Something that they can do with fletching is they can create a sort of angle with the fletching and induce a spin, which will allow it to travel in a spiral motion, the arrow in a spiral motion, and travel more straight and faster. The last Olympic sport that we have is badminton. The badminton involves a lot of action and reaction as the racket affects the birdie when it is impacted. So the strings of the racket are going to flex back and then push the birdie back in the direction that isn't angled. When doing so, the actual player has to keep in mind that they must hit it much harder than they would a ball due to its drag. The birdie's drag is caused by the cone-like shape on the back of it, which induces a pull from the air resistance, which then makes it more difficult for the player to actually put it where they want it to go. The last sport that we have altogether would be frisbee. So frisbee involves a few components of its shape. First off, you have the rim. The rim is going to act as a trap to the air pressure that is being created as it flies through the air. Now, what you want that to do is you want it to create the low pressure underneath, and as the pressure drops, it's going to be able to lift up the disc because of action and reaction. Now, the curved shape is going to also allow it to hold that air under and the air to flow smoothly in and out of the disc. This is a reason why usually you will not see a Frisbee that is just a straight board or circle. Secondly, when involving a Frisbee, we have to look at the angle that it is released. Well, this is going to affect the stability, and it's also going to affect the direction that it's going to travel. So in regards to stability, the Frisbee, when it is released, if it has an angle on the thrower's hand, if it is tilted slightly in such a way that it is off kilter with the Frisbee, it will cause it to wobble through the air until it becomes flat from the pressure. So the low pressure is going to be on top and the high pressure is going to be on the bottom. As it flies through the air, it's going to go against the flow of the air, which is going to create these pressures, which is going to cause the lift. Another factor of angle is going to be the direction the Frisbee travels. So whenever a thrower wants the disc to go a certain direction, they're going to induce a canter on the disc while keeping it level with their hand. So this is going to cause it to either veer left or veer right, depending on how they position. Lastly, we have car safety. Car safety involves, first off, a headrest. So the purpose of a headrest is to prevent the S-curve that is created whenever a car is impacted from the rear, and the person in the seat, their body stays still, but their head is going to fling back and then rotate back forward. This is going to cause what is known as whiplash. However, it is preventable because the headrest has the ability to be adjusted to a point where it is level with the crown of your head, and this will cause it to catch your head when your body is wanting to move forward. Your head will also move forward and prevent the S-curve that is being created. Another thing is it can prevent injury from impact in the front, because as your body slams forward, it is then going to want to go back again. So that headrest is going to then prevent it from going back any further and causing any more damage to your neck. The last feature of safety that we have are seat belts. Seat belts involve a number of different things that will help to prevent injury in a wreck. First off, you have the basic idea that it's going to hold you still. It's not going to let you go anywhere if someone impacts you from the front, because that's the primary design. But it also allows you to steer clear of the windshield and steer clear of the steering wheel so that you don't smash your face or smash your whole body against it, causing more damage than already done. The effects of the seatbelt is that it's going to secure your body to the seat and not allow you to go anywhere unless need be. So if you move in a slow motion, it's going to be able to move back and forth as you experience when you're buckling up or you're leaning forward to grab something. But then when getting in a wreck, it has a mechanism designed to lock with that sudden jolt. And this will help you to stay stationary with the seat and prevent injury. So proper use is going to be making sure that the shoulder strap goes over your shoulder and across your chest and underneath your arm, and that the lap strap, of course, goes over your lap to prevent you from sliding out or getting pushed. Now, there is one repercussion, is that it could cause you to slam against the seatbelt itself, but that's going to be much better and more comfortable than hitting a windshield or a steering wheel. So these are my works cited, and I just want you to know that in conclusion, Many aspects of our lives involves physics, even though we don't look for physics while we're driving down the road or while we're throwing a frisbee or while we're doing swimming in the pool. But at the end of the day, it's going to affect us whether we like it or not.